In this video, I interview my beautiful wife, Becky. She shares her inspiring story of pursuing and achieving her childhood dream of moving to another country. That's coming up. Hey everyone, it's Corey and welcome to my channel. This is all about motivating and inspiring people to live life through my own experiences, positive and negative. And if you're a new viewer, can you please consider subscribing? Let's get into it. So folks, in my intro, I always say it's about my experiences. But today we're going to hear from the lovely Becky that happens to be my wife. She's going to share her experience and her inspiring story of moving from El Salvador, Central America to Australia. And before I introduce her, I just want to explain why I wanted to interview her and for you to hear her story. It's extremely inspiring, folks. Very inspiring. It's a great example of getting out of your comfort zone big time. It's a great example of having and pursuing a dream and achieving that dream. And what you think about, you bring about. Like, that's the truth, folks. In life, what you think about, you bring about. And Becky thought about this dream for how many years?
Too many.
Too many. Over, what, 10 years?
More than that.
More than that?
13
years. All right. So this is lovely, Becky. Do you want to say hi, Becky?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm super happy to be here, Corey. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, I'm very happy to have you on my channel once again. So do you want to share a little bit about your story? Like maybe why you wanted to come to Australia and when you started thinking about it?
Well, I started to think about moving to a different country when I was, I think, 11 years old. Super young. I always knew that I wanted to live in a different country. English speaking one. I don't know why. To meet you?
To meet me. I think that's the real reason.
That's the real reason.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know back then.
And when you're only 11, like that's a bit creepy. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, bit weird.
But
yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
So
you were 11?
I was 11.
And you knew you wanted to move to an English-speaking country.
Yes.
Just somewhere totally different than a Spanish-speaking country like El Salvador.
Yeah. I think because I always felt that in English-speaking countries there were more opportunities.
Okay.
That's the perception that I had back then in El Salvador. I was like between the United States, Canada, and Australia. And I remember like back then, I didn't know which country, I didn't know how, I didn't know when. I just had this like emotion of wanting to move. And I remember I used to see like a rainy day, for example, and I imagined that I was living in a different country because usually in El Salvador it's super hot. So when I was like in the middle of winter in a rainy day, I thought that and I imagined myself like living in a different country, like with different houses, and I felt it, and I was like, oh, yeah. So I lived it. I wasn't living in the country, but in my mind, for sure. And I remember to help that dream, I started to share it with everyone. I started to share it with my parents, and they were like, yeah, no worries. They didn't know that. Yeah, they thought it was just like a silly dream, I think. I don't know. Back then, probably they didn't take it seriously. And I remember I also started to record different like pictures of houses, like beautiful like gardens, just to remind me that one day I will move to a different country. And in everything I put it, like in my room, I put it like on top of my notebooks, I put it.
So pictures.
Like
a vision board.
Like a vision board everywhere.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere.
This is at 11.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
11.
Yeah.
Anything that could help me to support that dream. Like to keep it alive, to keep it in my mind. Yeah. In my soul.
Wow. Yeah. And so that was from the age of 11 that you remember like thinking about moving to another country, English-speaking country. And when was the first time you actually like moved overseas? Like, when was the first time? So, yeah.
I was 23, and it was sent to a friend from uni, Evelyn. We always like dream about moving to a country to study, like to have a scholarship. We never got a scholarship back then. But so one day she called me and she said, Becky, are you sitting down? And I was like, are you okay? What happened? Yeah, I can sit down. And she said to me, that was a Friday. And she said, on Monday, I'm moving to New York.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's why. She knew that I needed to be sitting down, because I was like, excuse me? What? Tell me, what happened? So she started to tell me that she was like going to New York, like in 3 days, in a intercultural exchange program with a family in the United States from El Salvador. And I said, can you please share the information with me? I want to do it as well. And she said that the reason she didn't share with me from the beginning when she started to do it, it was because we just finished uni. So we graduated from a bachelor degree. She was accountant and I did business administration. So she said to me, this is something different from our career. But she was super excited because she thought that it would be a great opportunity to learn English and live like the country. Yeah, and it was very, very exciting. So that's when I did all the process. I applied, and I also got accepted into the exchange program. So within, I think, a couple of months, I went to the United States, to Pennsylvania. Wow. Yeah.
So you moved to Pennsylvania to do what? Like, what were you doing there?
Yeah, so the exchange program is called au pair. I don't know, some people know about it. So you move to live with a family in the United States. You look after the kids. In,
a nanny.
Like a nanny.
Becky was a nanny.
So,
au pair.
So au pair is the French word for a nanny, I think. And I lived with a family for a year. I took care of like their daughter, Olivia, and it was the best.
Yeah.
It was the best year because I was fulfilling my dream. I was like outside. I was like looking at the houses that I used to have just like on pictures, and I was around those houses. I was in those parks. I was in the shopping center. I was like making friends, traveling, learning more English. I didn't know much back then, and it was an adventure. It was a full adventure.
Exciting. No. Very exciting. And you went for how long?
13 months.
13 months.
Yeah.
So was that the ultimate dream, to live in another country for like 13 months, or did that just fuel your desire then to want to live somewhere permanently overseas? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I thought about staying in the United States, but back then that was 2007.
Yeah.
It was already hard to stay in the United States as a professional. So I thought, no, I need to go back to El Salvador, and that to apply to a different country, but that certainly fueled my desire of moving permanently, not just for a year or a couple of months, but permanently.
So when you were 11, was the thought always to go to another country for like temporarily or full time, or just to go experience it? Like, when did you decide this is what I want to do permanently after Pennsylvania?
I think it was after Pennsylvania, because before I just had the dream to travel, to see something different, I don't know why I had that dream of like just be curious to see what's outside. Yeah.
Wow. So let's fast forward to what made you decide to come to Adelaide, South Australia? And what made you decide to come to Adelaide, South Australia by yourself? Like, get this, folks. Becky came from El Salvador, Central America, to Adelaide, South Australia, not knowing a single person. She didn't know anyone. She didn't know any of the place. She didn't know much English. Explain that to us, because that's extremely brave. Like, that takes a lot of courage. Like, you want to talk about getting out of your comfort zone, folks. Like, move to another country, don't know much of the language, and you don't know a single person there. That's getting out your comfort zone. So do you want to talk about that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's very exciting and it's helping me right now to remember and everything. It's really cool. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. I remember when I went back to El Salvador after the 13 months in Pennsylvania. I started to work in a call center and it was fine, but I was like always like thinking even more like I need to go somewhere else. I need to move somewhere else, and it was like every day.
I can relate to that right now.
I know.
I want to move to Mexico or Central America. So Becky moved to Australia, and now I want to go live where she came from, and it's just like, yeah. But anyway,
I understand.
Back to you. You understand. Yeah.
So my dad found in the newspaper a ad that said immigration talk or conference, come and listen how to move to Australia. And he asked me, hey Becky, look, I found this, do you want to go? And I was like, of course I want to go. And so he came with me to the conference, and I remember I went to that first one, but I didn't connect to the migration agent, and I was like, I felt something that it wasn't the right person. And then I think another person went to El Salvador to share again the same information, and I did connect with that person. So I started to ask him more, and I asked my family, look, I think I would love to start the process with this migration agent. And they say, are you sure? Thank God I have a really, really supportive family. They have always supported my dreams, gave me the freedom to dream, inspired me to dream. So I'm super grateful for my family. They are great. And so they say, yeah, if you want to do it, let's do it. And I remember the fear. I remember the fear because I didn't know the person. I didn't know anything about any immigration process. Straight away, they ask you for money to start the process, to commit, obviously, to the process. And I remember clicking, and it was like, is this real? Is this...
Transferring the money.
Yeah, transferring the money. For us in El Salvador, it was a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money. Still. So, and I remember I just clicked, and that was it. I was in, so he received the payment, and he started to send me all the details that I needed to complete, huge process. It took me 2 years between taking the English test, between validating my degree here in Australia, filling the paperwork, applying for South Australia, which is a regional area, to get extra points.
South Australia is regional. Is that how they class that?
Yeah, for Australia.
Okay.
So it's regional compared to Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, which are the most popular cities. But I didn't care. I was like, no matter which city, I'm happy. And then I started to do the same that I did before with the photos. I started to research. I remember in my computer, I used to go to Google Earth. It was really basic back then.
Yeah.
But it gave me the images of the city, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live there. That's where I'm going to work. I didn't know anything if they would approve the application, if I would qualify, but I just make it real for me.
It was real in your mind.
It was a reality in my mind. Not yet in papers or the process, but in my mind it was totally real. I had my posters again in my room. I had the Adelaide city. In every day I researched something
About Adelaide.
Yeah, every day after work.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, once you went to the seminar and you saw that you could move to Australia, it wasn't just a simple process. It was a lot of work, cost a lot of money, a lot of emotion, a lot of documents, a lot of paperwork. Like it was a lot. So, and then what happened from there? What was the next step from there? You've done all that. You're fantasizing about moving to Australia, moving to Adelaide. You're in the process.
Yes.
What was after that like?
So I was going crazy because it was taking a lot of time. 2 years is a lot of time when you want something and you don't see that it's happening.
Yeah.
And especially now you want everything like in a week, tomorrow. So I was going like crazy. I was like in worry as well that it wasn't happening. So I remember one day I prayed and I said to God, look, God, you know my dream. You know that I want to move to a different country and you know that will make me happy. But I don't know what is not happening. We always have a delay. We always have something that is stopping. And I remember I let go. I said, look, if it's for me to travel to Australia, please grant me that wish. But it's not for me and I need to stay here in El Salvador. Please also give me the strength to be happy here. So I remember that moment I let go. I was super attached to my dream. Super, super attached. I still remember. But as soon as I let go to the result, and I remember I applied with 100 points. It's a base point system. So I applied with 100 points, which means that I had 50% chance for them to say yes or 50 to say no. So I didn't have like extra points. I didn't have, because they give you more points if you are like an engineer, if you have like family, they give you some extra points. So I was single. I wasn't an engineer. So 100 points. And the next day when I let go, the immigration agent sent me a message, and I remember I just saw the line that said congratulations, and I was like, I couldn't open the email that quick. I was like, congratulations. And I started to read it, and they said congratulations, your visa has been granted. I couldn't believe it. I think I started to cry, scream, I was jumping, everything.
And how long from that moment forward did you actually get on a plane? From then?
It was a couple of months, I think. 2 months after. I think it was October, November, I don't remember. So I started to research for accommodation and no idea. I mean, the prices in El Salvador are different to the prices in Australia for rent, for food, for transport. So everything was different. And I remember I looked for apartments, and when I saw the price, I was like, oh no, maybe I need a room. I'm not going to be able to pay for a full apartment. So there are a lot of like scams online as well. So
in Australia.
I don't know if they are
based
from
in Australia.
I don't know if they are based in Australia. I don't know if it's the same now. That was back in 2009. But I remember I had like 2 people that asked me to pay like this amount of money to have an apartment like in the center of the city, and it was super cheap. But something that I learned from that moment in the process is to trust my instinct, my gut feeling. I remember like the communication with them felt didn't feel right. So I always share with more people, with my mom, with my dad. Look, this is the information. This is how I feel. And then they share with me, maybe it's not the right person. Why don't you ask the migration agent perhaps to connect you with someone already living there? Because I was like, just going like, yeah.
And you didn't know anyone that lived in Adelaide? Like, no one. Becky was prepared to jump on a plane and fly here.
Yeah.
Not knowing a single person. Like, that blows my mind. Like, I would be freaking out. I'd be trying to make friends of everyone before I even came.
But you did it when you moved to Brisbane by
I already knew
yourself
some
at
people.
16.
I knew a couple people.
So I remember I talked to the migration agent and he helped me. He said to me, yeah, I know that a family that moved there 2 years ago. I can contact you with them. And I remember that was December. So here in December, you know that how everything like goes a little bit quiet. People go on holidays. They reply me quickly, but then the person that they connected me with, she didn't reply straight away. I think, yeah, she has some family commitments, and I remember thinking, I still don't have, I already bought the ticket.
When were you flying to Adelaide?
I was flying the 15th of January.
Yep.
And it was like the 31st of December, and I didn't have a house here.
You had no accommodation, nowhere to stay.
I didn't have any accommodation, and I remember...
And you still didn't know anyone here?
No,
you had a contact, but you didn't know.
I had a contact by email.
Like, were you just like, oh
yeah,
my
I was
God,
scared. Of course I was scared, but I remember my dad said to me, well, my dad was always like that. He's super strong. He said, well, you will need to go to a hotel, stay there for a couple of days, and look for a house when you get there. And I was like, yeah, right, I can do that.
That scares me. I'd be like, oh.
I know, but for some reason, I was scared, but I was more excited. I was like super excited, and I was like, when you don't know, you don't know. And I was like, I got the trust that everything will work out. I always had that, even with the fear, but I always thought that it would work out. And I remember Marielos, which is a person that received me in her house when I came to Australia. She replied to me, and then she said, Becky, I'm sorry, I couldn't reply before, but no worries, I'll go and pick you up from the airport. She is also from El Salvador, so we were speaking in Spanish, and I was like, oh, that's so good, because like I'm going to stay with a family like that speaks Spanish, is from El Salvador, and she offered to go and pick me up to the airport, and that was like a huge like relief for me. It was, I'm super grateful for her to go and pick me up, and then I came.
Wow. Very, very inspiring story. And like I said in the intro, like it's inspiring. You pursued that goal. You had this dream, this goal ever since you were 11. Yeah. You fantasized about it. You had vision boards, you had pictures all around the house, and you did whatever it took to pursue and achieve that dream. And I'm sure, you're glad that you did it and everything like that.
No, I'm glad. I would do it all over again.
Yeah. And like I said, what you think about, you bring about. So whatever you focus on grows and becomes reality in life. And that's why I wanted you to hear Becky's story, because it's the perfect example of what you think about, you bring about. Like Becky had a vision board, she had pictures, she was constantly fantasizing, dreaming about living in another country, fueling that dream, fueling that desire, and it happened. And so you can achieve anything if you really put your mind to it and pursue it. So just in wrapping up, Becky, I really appreciate you sharing your story. Did you want to say anything? A message to anyone, or
I would like to say, keep dreaming. I would like to say, let go of the results. So do everything that you can and that is under your control to achieve that dream. And let go and I believe in God and I trust Him to open or close the doors for me. And I'm so grateful that He opened this door for me.
Yeah.
And I think between that balance, doing everything that you can and it's under your control to achieve that dream, but then trust that it's going to happen or it's not going to happen, and no matter what, you're going to be okay. That's I think for me the lesson from the process.
Yeah, well, we all have goals and dreams, and sometimes they don't come to fruition or they don't become reality for a reason. Like it wasn't meant to be. So then from that point you have another dream and you pursue something else. It'll always work out in the end.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
So I really appreciate your time, Becky. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your story. Is there anything else you want to add?
No,
Is that pretty much it?
Keep going, and thank you. I love your channel.
Yeah, I love your channel too. I forgot to mention Becky's channel. She's got Vidas Maestras in Spanish. You need to check it out if you speak Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish,
you can learn Spanish.
You can learn some Spanish. And then you got another channel which is in English. Have you started that one yet?
Today, tomorrow.
Have you got the name of it so we can plug it on here, or you don't have a name yet?
I don't have a name yet, but it's going to be super exciting.
Awesome.
Exciting, yes. And super happy because I have a lot of friends that only speak English. So I also want to reach them out and reach to them. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, folks. So that's it from us. And if you see value in what I do, please subscribe. If you want to pay it forward, please share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Got lots more videos coming out soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.